Slavery has caused much friction between the North and the South. The North wants to abolish slavery, while the South thinks slavery is necessary to keep their lives running. These differences are tearing our country apart, especially when it comes to adding a new state. Let's turn it over to two of our reps, Diamond from the North and Mihir from the South. Here is Diamond with her viewpoint. Diamond?
Thanks, Aisha. I'm here today to talk about how the North feels about slavery. Slavery is wrong. Slavery is mistreating African American people because they are different and making them our property and making them do harsh labor for hours at end. We treat them inhumane like they're animals, like they're not human beings. We treat them as if we are superior to them, and that is not right. I do not think that as a new country that we should start off with such harsh, mean ways. This reminds me of how King George treated us, and we left because we wanted freedom. So do the slaves. The slaves are people too, just like you and I. I think it's only fair to the slaves that we end slavery. Also, slavery isn't doing anything to help us. It's not beneficial in any ways. To further prove my feelings and the North's feelings towards slavery, I interviewed a former slave from the South who came here to the North and escaped slavery and its harsh ways. Hey y'all, I'm happy to be here today. I'm a former slave and I really want to answer some of your questions so you can get a better insight about how slavery is from an actual former slave. Thank you for being here today. I know this is hard, but please try to answer these questions as honestly and truthfully as possible. So, how did you escape from the South? It wasn't easy escaping the South. When it got dark, I snuck out of the master's house and ran away from the plantation. I ran as far as I could until I got to a place called the Underground Railroad, and I stayed in a few people's homes each night and made my way up to the North day by day. You had to be very quick and very secretive and sly about it, because if you were caught, you would be sent back, or even worse, be killed. It was the scariest time of my life, but I knew that it had to be done, and I wouldn't regret it because it's the best thing that had happened. I love my freedom and I love my rights. What was life like living on the plantation? Life on the plantation was just plain awful. Living in slavery, to me, really wasn't living at all. The master could take your slavery, he could take everything. You'd always have to live in fear, and I didn't like living that way anymore. How is life now that you escaped slavery? Although life is not perfect, it is far much better than how it was before. As you can see, slavery has affected slaves in a terrible way. We have rubbed the slaves the wrong way, but we can improve our relationship with African Americans if we abolish slavery and make them Americans just like us. Abolishing slavery is the way to go. Now is Mihir with her opinions.
As a representative from this issue in the South, I think that slavery should not be abolished. Slavery is a big issue going through our country right now, and I think the answer is very obvious. The damage from getting rid of slavery is too much to even imagine. Slaves are the ones that do all our work for us. If they were gone, imagine doing all the work yourself. We would be drowning in it. As economic affairs, slaves stand in the fields all day for hours and hours, and they work and they plant our crops and they harvest them. If they didn't do that, we wouldn't have a living, we wouldn't have a healthy life. We don't mistreat them, we feed them, we give them water, we give them shelter, so they're like our property, we own them. And think about cotton. It's one of the most major cash crops of our time right now. If slaves didn't stand in the fields all day and pick the cotton, then we wouldn't have any profit to make out of it. Another thing is that many slaves can't read, write, or do anything productive. All they can do is physical labor, which is why they are slaves. Even if they were freed, what would they do? We would just be losing all our manual labor and our economy would go down gradually. Just like the North is in a mess right now, we would also be stuck in this mess.
Now that we've heard the North and the South's viewpoints, let's hear what a few other people have to say about the issue.
Slavery is bad.
So slavery, one of the biggest controversial things in the world? Yeah, not the best idea America or anyone has ever thought about.
I'm here to tell you guys that slavery must occur. It must occur. Why wouldn't it occur? There's only two reasons why it wouldn't occur. That's only because it would occur. So don't ask me why slavery should be taken out or taken in. I think slavery should be taken in. It needs to be taken in. We need to control every single thing in America. Our government, you don't understand about our government. It just needs to be a government. It needs to be controllable and a government. You don't understand. If I understand, then why wouldn't you understand? Then why wouldn't I understand? Stop! Listen. I can't even emphasize how much we need there needs to be slavery in our country. Why you hating right now? Why you hating? Just go home.